this game done, get over towards lunch or something. They just went for it. Aegis was out. It didn't matter. They fight through Skeeter twice in the midst of the team fight.
That was cool. Very, very cool. There's definitely a lot of really little plays that came in, but overall, Liquid, it was a full team strategy.
Yeah.
Great macro play movements. You know, like you said, they took a slight risk to be able to go for the throne and stuff like that, but in the end, they get the result that they wanted. Just great synergy from the draft.
It really was. And if they keep this up, they're absolutely going to be quite the formidable opponents for Gaming Gladiators in that grand finals.
And in the past, it's been Gaming. Last year, I believe they won every single series versus Liquid in those finals that they played them. So it's going to be quite a reach and see what Liquid can do with these strategies versus them.
Absolutely. Well, with this win here, Liquid, they're looking more ready than ever to tackle Gaming Gladiators in that grand finals. I cannot wait. But now we're going to head over to the stage to hear from Boxy after Liquid take the series 2-0 against Falcons.
Thank you very much. I am joined by Boxy of Team Liquid, who has now secured grand finals yet again at back-to-back Riyadh Masters. And you also get the privilege of your first key crushing, because you guys have been cruising through upper bracket, but now Team Falcon's journey has ended in snaking. If you don't mind, could you please bring your key to Liquid, the victors of this lower bracket final? A round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen, for an amazing run from Team Falcons as they end here in the top 3. And Falcons have ended their journey, but Liquid continue onwards because, boy, you guys came in kind of angry this morning, it seems. After the 0-2 against Gaming Gladiators yesterday, most teams, I imagine, would have gotten a little bit, thrown off balance, but what was the energy? This lower bracket final was insane. What a 2-0.
Yeah, there was a good 4 or 5 hours of moping, and then Coach William came in with a motivational Seb-esque speech. Ooh. Brought everyone's spirits up,
And I saw that he was doing some studying late into the night about plans for Falcons in game. And how did you guys spend the night after hopefully having your spirits raised and being like, guys, tomorrow's a new day?
Playing overthrow. Maybe for me, I watch some replays, study some patterns, but usually you just try and get into a good mindset. Go to bed in time, eat some food, make sure everything is physically in place, and then you trust your coaches to do the rest.
And everything was mentally in place for you guys as well, as a team, as a unit. I saw Mickey was even graciously giving you some last hits on your Marcy to make sure that you could finish your BKB. How often are you able to convince him to be like, dude, come on, I'm this close?
Mickey doesn't take a lot of convincing.
Oh, really?
I think Nara would be a little harder to convince. It's like, how many back and forths do I need to go through before? Mickey is like 1 or 2, so it's not so bad.
How many back and forths are involved when your team decides to go tier 4s, though? Because that was one moment where maybe the communication had a little disconnect.
I mean, I think in theory it can be executed, but we need to focus their heroes instead of the towers. Personally, I would have preferred to maybe take a Rax and go Roshan, but it's a team game and you have to trust the calls that are being made. And I think if we go throne and then we kill their heroes as they come in 1 by 1, we might be able to do it. Of course, it's riskier, but sometimes you feel it and you go for it.
And the feeling didn't work out there, but in the end, the game ended up being in your pocket. Now, Boxy, we've been down this road before. For you, in 2 different circumstances at this event. Last year, you made it to grand finals against Team Spirit. This year, it's going to be grand finals against Gaming Gladiators. For all the Liquid fans out there, why is this time going to be different? Not just in terms of the year's performances, but everything. This is a championship opportunity for you now. Why can we all believe in Liquid?
I think a lot of finals we've played, we've been a little bit scared, perhaps, because it takes a toll to lose 8 grand finals consecutively. And I think this time we already got destroyed by Gaming once. So now we're like, okay, we've been there, done that. And now we have some confidence that we're going to do things different. And I think they are a scary team, but I think they were scarier before. I feel like now they're a bit like one-trick pony, and I don't know. If you don't lose in 15 minutes, you might win. Yeah.
I love the attitude, Boxy. Congratulations on another grand finals. What a feat from Team Liquid. Can't wait to see the grand finals. I will let you prepare for that as we send it back to the studio.
Thank you, Tsunami and Boxy there, giving us a lot of insight towards this very quick 2-0. But a 2-0 it was for Liquid. They see themselves going on to the grand final. Going to have that grudge rematch up against Gaming Gladiators. But this game 2 did not go the way a lot of my analysts expected. You guys actually really liked the drafted Team Falcons. You thought that it was going to be able to come online. You liked the Legion Commander, especially towards the end there, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Liquid were just a step ahead of Falcons today. Like, every single move that Liquid made was just at the correct timing. Falcons is always just a little bit too late. And I gotta say, I completely underestimated Liquid going into today. I mean, I thought that after their loss yesterday versus Gaimin, they were exposed, you know how to break their lanes. No, no, no. Liquid showed us today that they can bring the tempo and they can completely crush. I mean, from all the way to that first Aegis that they took into all of the smokes that worked out afterwards, they found pickoffs on the map, they picked off LC mid, they picked off Pango on the side, and then Falcons actually took this initiative to like push Liquid's high ground, and they got completely punished there. I mean, the net worth just swung to like a 6K lead at that point, and it really did feel like Liquid had their number. They just understood them so well, Lacoste.
Yeah, the beautifully executed draft from Team Liquid. I really like how they were playing around Mickey. He only had one death in that game, multiple 4-staffs stacking Lincolns on top of him so that he can get his, because he's afraid of that Batrider, he's afraid of that LC duel, but they were grouping around, playing as a team, and just as you said, one step ahead. Sometimes a couple of these seconds can make, you know, decision-making much more difficult, fighting into Roshan and stuff like that. But overall, Team Liquid, I loved also the itemization from the Brewmaster. I think that's the key one, because so far they didn't have any success with the Brewmaster, with the Radiance build. So he goes for Aura, builds that Guardian Greaves, builds that Crimson Guard, which is like, okay, there's not going to be enough damage. Troll still doesn't have MKB, so it doesn't have that extra magical damage coming out, and builds into Halberd in the end, which is kind of a chef's kiss on top, just to be able to, you know, disable the troll and unable to deal any damage. But yeah, beautifully executed stuff from Team Liquid.
You know what Liquid reminded me of in this game?
What?
They reminded me of Prime OG, where they would protect Ana with all of these buffs, the Lincoln Spheres, the Lotus Orbs, the 4 staves onto the high ground. Everything was just about buffing Mickey. So we were viewing the draft on a lower level than they were, where we're like, okay, in a 1-to-1 direct counter, Legion Commander with the duel is going to be able to kill the SF, and if your entire draft is riding on this SF, then you're going to have some problems in the late game. But we didn't consider the Crimson, we didn't consider the 4 staves, the Lincolns, the itemization on Mickey. When they play together as this cohesive unit, they are clearly confident playing this SF into pretty much anything.
At first, I was worried that Mickey was going too defensive with these items, and I was like, okay, where is the damage really going to come from? I was a bit worried, but the Postal Marcy, in my eyes, was what filled in that gap while he was able to get the Dragonlance for himself, get that Lincolns, and then he was able to go. I mean, I know he ended up going for Mask of Madness a little bit earlier on, but yeah, there was that lull.
It was like pretty much no damage items. Even the Mask of Madness, I would consider like a farming and sustain item.
True.
And I think, like you said, the Marcy, the fact that she gives base damage now instead of flat damage, all of the items the SF was building that were defensive were also items that gave stats, right? It's Butterfly, there was the Hurricane Pike, all of these things give stats. Lincoln Sphere even gives a bit of stats. So the damage comes from the heroes that are with the SF, not the SF himself.
Yeah, so it's great. They drafted for it, itemized for it. But Effie, let's have a look at some highlights here. Your one's going to come up first on our screen here. And it was earlier in the game where we thought, what on earth is Liquid doing? In fact, what is Falcons doing to initiate this fight?
Yeah, so basically Falcons kind of took a quest from PSG Questbook yesterday where they baited the Ancient Stack and then tried to take a fight, but I thought this was a cool highlight because it was such an odd choke point to take it, where Enchantress walks in, Jakiro and Puck are in that really odd place in the river, but because of Enchantress's tankiness, her facet, you can see the buff come out of the Legion Commander. She actually baited the fight and dragged the fight back into her team, where they got a successful duel off with the Macropyre. And even though Falcons lost, I thought this was a really cool move. Unfortunately for them, it was their last successful move versus Liquid in this game.
Yeah, pretty much. I remember in that game we were watching all the replays of the great Legion Commander duels as well, and then unfortunately just it didn't come together like that yet again. But Jenkins, you've got a moment for yourself that you'd like to talk us through. I was going to say walk us through, but talk us through.
I do. I mean, this is the moment of the game. Boxy talked about it. The decision to go for the throne, to me, this is something that people are only going to make this call when you are in a lower bracket finals, back against the wall. You're feeling the momentum, you're feeling the emotion. And you can see that even though Falcons did end up winning this fight, they had to go in one by one. They had to expend their buybacks. So even though this didn't end up with the throne falling and the game ending, it set Falcons back a lot. And it also gave this window of opportunity for Liquid to win the game by killing those heroes that didn't have buybacks. And for like the 10 minutes after this, before the game ended, Falcons had to play incredibly safe. Even with an Aegis, they're like, well, our subs don't have buyback, right? So if they die, we lose the game regardless of the Aegis, especially with the Brew. You just throw up the Troll, and then all of a sudden, what Aegis?
Yeah, you're in that weird zone where you want to be aggressive, you want to take advantage of that, but
can't really.
How can you? And you're also panicking because you're like, our throne's exposed now. What exactly are we going to do? And Lacoste, you're going to show us the very last key moment of this game number 2 that Liquid won to knock out Falcons.
Pretty much, the buybacks are down for 2 supports on Team Falcons, and I want to highlight how they're playing around Mickey Shadow Fiend, who gets the Manta style. He's the pretty much focus of the whole fight. They know if he dies, they're not going to have enough damage, so he gets the pike. You can see this play as well, and another Hurricane pike coming out from him on the high ground. Good positioning from Mickey, and everybody around him pretty much playing, understanding what they're going to go for, using that Lincoln Sphere from Pac on top of him, which is going to result in multiple kills, and this is how Team Liquid will go to the Grand Finals.
Yeah, when you see them play a game like this, it definitely shows a team worthy to make it to the Grand Finals, a team worthy to go up against Gaming Gladiators, who secured that spot for themselves yesterday. But look, looking at that one, all of our highlights, you would think that Mickey would be our MVP of the series, but you got to look at both games, Game 1 and Game 2, and so our PlayStation MVP for this Falcons Liquid game was, in fact, Boxy. We were talking to him a little bit earlier on stage with Tsunami, but I think both the combination of the Morphling and the Marcy. So Game 1 and Game 2, what he was playing in a position for is exactly why we've decided to give him the PlayStation MVP. And Boxy, you're joining us here. You're doing all the interviews, just running around the whole boulevard.
Hello.
Hello.
You don't win a PlayStation for this.
That's too bad.
They told me to stop
Did
saying
you want
that.
one though?
I don't know. I've never had one, actually. I've always been an Xbox kind of guy.
Whoa, whoa.
that's,
Now you're.
that's
What's
now
your
you're
favorite
banned.
game on
Yeah,
Xbox?
But I will say that now nobody that I know has
Everybody
has an Xbox.
That console that we
That's true.
can't
Everybody's
mention.
got to play.
Sorry.
PlayStation.
Should have told me.
The way to
Well,
go.
look, Boxy, let's talk about it. The post-sport morph, you weren't the first one to play it in this tournament, but we've been saying it for you that you are the one to pioneer it. Talk to me about how it came about, how much you had to beg to let Blitz pick it for you in Game 1.
There wasn't so much begging. I think Free is a big believer also.
Oh, good.
But I mean, I've grinded it a lot. Like 9 class started playing it, and some other people like Tops on mid, and I watched some of the replays, but I lost like my first 10 games. So you know, it was a learning curve. But after I played like some more of them, I feel like now it's pretty fun.
Good.
I feel like sometimes I play it feels really bad. Still haven't quite figured it out, but I don't know.
I'm going to hijack this whole interview and talk about the Pause 4 morph because I really I've been playing.
This guy knows. This guy
I'm
knows.
a huge Morphling fan. I want to ask you some questions about this. First off, I noticed in that game that you were sitting high strength morph a lot and then still morphing into the Sand King. When do you go full agi for the cooldown reduction versus staying high strength?
Okay, so there's an ability I like to call Ice Blast that like stops you from healing, morphing up. So I figure like if I just press the max strength button and I just leave it there, I don't know.
Pretty good.
So you played Morph on easy mode because they picked AA. So what should have been counter? Just
Kind of.
easy.
I mean, I feel like it's a counter to carry morph, but on support morph, I don't know. I was kind of vibing on full
That's
HP.
what I was saying. Moonbander was like, oh, this
Yeah.
counters the support morph. I was like, I feel like,
I mean, it was a bit annoying to not have cooldown reduction, I guess. But it was, I don't know. It is good or bad, but it was fine.
And,
you still-
I got more Morphling.
You got more Morphling. So do I.
You got one.
This
You
is
got
a
one.
complete-
You get one.
No,
One
you
per
get one and
Morphling.
then we're gonna look up.
What are your favorite guys to play against as Morphling when you have that cooldown reduction? Because I feel like Timber is a really good hero to play against, if not like the best, and they picked it into you.
I haven't really played against Timber before this. Favorite, I don't know. Weaver, Sand King, maybe.
Oh yeah, Perma Sakuchi.
That one can be good. I feel like sometimes I take over somebody and I do nothing.
Yeah, that's what happens for me.
And I don't even know, like, I don't know. It's just confusing to play.
Isn't it exciting, though? You just never know what you're going to get.
Kind of, yeah.
And I also noticed that you went for mech, even though you were playing against AA, and I noticed that you were kind of going in, soaking up the AA blast, so that both of your cores can kind of get to lifesteal. You had Beastmaster with Riyadh, you had Monkey King. Is that something that you talk about, or do you say, like, I'm going to go in, or how does it work?
I mean, I guess I felt like because I'm playing on max HP, I should go in. I think the mech, you know, maybe you can't heal on AA blast, but nobody will, you know, your whole team won't be AA blasted.
Yes.
And it feels a bit bad to be like, oh, I don't want to buy the items I normally buy just because they have this or this, you know. Sometimes you gonna buy like Ghost Scepter even though they have a nullifier, because like, is he always gonna press it on me? Like, probably not.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, so.
Well, I want to talk about the Marcy as well. I want to know some more insight of how you feel you have to play a Pos 4 Marcy, or at least how you felt you had to have played it in that game against Falcons.
I mean, it's strong for the lane. I think it's strong later. It's a little awkward somewhere there in the mid game when you're like trying to get your BKB. But I was gracefully donated some creep waves by my carry, so that was nice. And you know, it's really good with the turrets because you like give them lifesteal, and then when you get gone on, your HP like goes up. So I don't know if you guys saw, there was like 2 times I'm just bashing the troll, and he's just bashing me, and I'm not dying. So that's kind of the perks of having it with a turret. I wasn't sure if it was like the best pick, but Falcons, I think I've had success with it before, so I was like, let's just send it.
Okay. When you say success before, is that in officials, in scrims, in pubs?
I don't know. I just have the feeling.
Oh,
like,
okay, you're like,
I have the feeling like it's good against them.
definitely on positive win rate right now.
Kind of.
Whose call was to pick Marcy? Because you so far played 14 different heroes, and it like have the by far the biggest hero pool of the whole team. So who makes the call?
I think I suggested it, and then I started like talking about some other heroes, and then William said like he just wants to play it, so let's just pick it or something like this. Sometimes like I give a lot of options, but I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I can see a lot of options that they
I give a lot of options that we've never played before, and then I think maybe we'd rather go with the one we've experienced before.
Yeah, going back to the Pos 4 Morphin here, I wonder if playing a generic unnamed guitar rhythm game that we can't mention helps you with pressing your buttons quicker on Pos 4 Morphling.
I'm not sure. For me, I play drums on it.
You play drums?
Yes.
Okay, and that does it help you at all with your Dota?
I mean,
position?
I feel like there's some correlation with like keeping your brain active and playing difficult heroes, but I'm sure Dota does that well enough.
It does that already? You just do it for fun?
Probably, yeah.
One more series.
I feel like we should mute Jenkins.
Yeah, I feel like it as well. So back to more, just kidding. So I wanted to ask you about knowing what your opponent is going to be in the grand finals. If you beat Falcons, do you guys also have some kind of a prep coming into, do you think forward? Do you think like, oh, we need to beat Falcons, but if we do, we're still doing prep for gaming because we're not going to have that much time?
I mean, the advantage of losing in the upper bracket is we've like already prepped and lost the game in. So it's not like you're coming in and you're playing a whole new team. I mean, we just play them. I think it's kind of fresh in our minds. You don't forget those games very easily. And a lot of times we come in the lower bracket, and now during this time we're kind of like struggling. Like, oh, what are they doing? What do we want to do? Because you really want to focus on one thing at a time.
Prepping right now than doing this interview.
No, because now I feel like, okay, like we've done all the prep, and then plus 2 of our games, and we're like, wow, we learned so much from those games, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not so bad, I think, yeah.
I think either way, that's a fantastic question to end it on. So thank you, Lucas. Thank you, Boxy, as well. Congratulations on being our PlayStation MVP.
Thank you.
And also,
what do I win?
You don't get a PlayStation.
A controller.
I win.
Chris handshake.
I was told to stop saying that.
Pleasure.
Well played, Boxy. You get that. And you get one more extra question about position 4. Morphin that Jacob's not going to ask right now, but he will DM you.
He will DM me.
He's going to DM you.
Okay.
We're going to go to our lower bracket. We're going to thank you so much, Boxy. I'll let you head off, prepare for the grand
I'm heading
finals.
off.
Yep, you're walking off right foot, then left foot, then right foot. Then, all right.
Mike, as you're walking.
He's like, yep, I'm leaving.
Breaking the immersion.
Look, these guys, they're leaving to get ready for the grand finals, though. Team Liquid, a very quick, swift 2-0, fantastic from them. It does mean, though, that Falcons will be doing a leaving of their own, and that's this tournament. Let's hear some words from their captain, Snake King, and his exit interview.
Thank you very much. I am joined by Snaking of Team Falcons, which I imagine, despite all of the championships over the year, moments like this still hit. No levels of trophies can really diminish anytime a loss like this happens on a stage like this. So just wondering what's going through your mind right now.
I mean, obviously, there's definitely like flashbacks of the mistakes I feel like I made during the game, maybe draft blunders, just obviously there's regrets, but I think the most important thing is like we need to learn from these mistakes and not let it like kill us, because what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, and then we need to evolve and be better at TI.
And there have been a lot of people trying to kill Team Falcons over the year, and the fact that it finally happened now, do you feel that this tournament was the culmination of the target being on your back for so long? Everyone has been scrutinizing what your team is capable of. You guys have been setting the benchmark, and perhaps this time it finally caught up?
I don't think it's so much about other people have the target on our back. I feel like we definitely have target on our back, but I think the main thing is we performed not as well as we should be able to, and I think our understanding of the meta of having all these auras was not as good, and like fighting on those timings once we, because both versus Gaimin and Liquid, once they got these Pipe Crimson Greaves, this combination of items, and then they forced this fight, and then we end up taking it, and it doesn't go well into our favor, and I think like it's partly of an understanding issue, that we actually cannot fight into this until we find a solution, or of like the Troll Axe, for example, in the second game. And we just didn't have any solution after Gaimin rolled us over in the upper series as well.
Dude, I love the analytical mind. You just hit the ground running, immediately trying to reverse engineer what happened. So I have no doubt whatsoever you guys are going to be able to grow from this for the next month as you look forward towards Copenhagen. What's going to be your preparation, or rather maybe even what's even going to be your relaxation?
We're all going to go home and just finally reset, because we had a 2-3 week boot camp leading into Riyadh Masters. So we're going to take a little break for a couple weeks, and then we're going to go fly to boot camp, and then we're going to train for TI again.
Can't wait to see it happen. Now, parting words that you'd have for all the Falcons fans who have been cheering you on and have joined the flock over this year.
I appreciate you guys for supporting us. Our journey ends here, but it's only the beginning.
Snaking, I have no doubt that that's the case. Congratulations on an amazing run. Condolences that it ends here. Can't wait to see what you're capable of in Copenhagen as we send it back to the studio. Loved it.
We thought that the lower bracket momentum of Falcons after yesterday could have been enough for them, but today it just wasn't their day. Liquid outclassed them, outplayed them, and outsmarted them in drafts, and because of that, they get to crush their key. The favorites coming into this, everyone was looking at them, and 33, he's definitely enjoying the fun of crushing his ex-teammates.
Pretty much.
He's in this hydraulic press.
100 members, and let's see how it goes. It's going in.
We gotta rate it.
Let's see if it breaks.
Put enough pressure on it. He's really,
Honestly, it's very hype.
He's unrelenting.
He just kept going. I thought he was gonna stop, but
he's putting more pressure on.
No, it's reversing.
Oh, he's reversing it. He's putting more pressure on the thing, which is reversing it.
I saw it backstage with Purge, and it looks way cooler in person than it does when you watch it. So I feel like when you're there, it's actually super hyped to actually do it. And every team had Falcons on their mind. They had that target that they wanted to take out, and to be the ones to do it, to be the ones to crush Falcons key, 3-3 has to feel good here.
I want to remind everyone as well that the team that wins the trophy here, the added bonus for themselves is they get to pick 3 keys of other teams to put in the base of that trophy. And so now I'm thinking with the Gaming Gladiators and Team Liquid finals, how likely is it that the Team Falcons key will end up?
It's going to be there.
100%,
Yeah, it's definitely
100%.
Them being the best team of 2024, pretty much. And I think coming into like this tournament, everybody is going to doing extra prep for Falcons, because this is the team to beat, and they managed to, snatch a couple of tournaments of other people. So it's going to be spicy, and it's going to be one of the grand finalists, of course, Team Falcons, and maybe something from the pubs, maybe some beef, depending who's going to be the one choosing it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it was just Amar on the golden key, it would still be the one that every team chooses.
No, I do want to hear, though, from each one of you, what you expect Gaming Gladiators, the 3 teams for them, and the 3 teams for Team Liquid. I know the answer, so I'll tell you right off.
Okay.
I have already asked both
Can I guess?
Quinn and Blitz. Yeah. That's the whole point of
Liquid.
Yep.
Falcons.
So this is for Gaming Gladiators?
For Gaming, yeah. Liquid Falcons.
Yep.
BB team?
Yeah, 100%
okay.
I was going to guess that.
Every team is going to choose BB team.
Yeah. No, well, what do you think Liquid's ones will be if they win?
Gaming, of course.
Yep.
Falcons.
Falcons.
And
Not BB team.
Not BB team, apparently.
Okay.
OG.
Spirit?
Not OG, it's Spirit.
Because I feel like you got to respect Spirit winning last year into TI.
Yes.
That's a respect.
I mean, they were reigning champions. They ended up falling down in the lower bracket to PSG Quest. Like, there's this momentum, you know, and Liquid themselves knocked them down to that lower bracket. So it's very poetic. I would be interested to see, that's what at least one from each of the teams said, but I'll be interested to see who they do eventually.
Might have changed by now,
yeah, you never know. The meta changes in Heroes Picked. The keys that they'll put in the trophy might also change. But either way, we've got a little bit of time before our grand final. And so I want to check in with Purge and see exactly what he's up to around the Esports World Cup.
Hey guys, we're backstage right now, just after the match between Team Liquid and Team Falcons, and a lot of stuff has happened. If you take a look around the room, it's very busy in here. There's tons of people. This is the room that Falcons are probably currently in, talking to each other and discussing what went wrong. But in the meantime, we have a ton of interviews going on at the same time. We've got Insania interviewing, we've got 3-3 interviewing. 3-3 just came off the main panel. There's so many moving pieces that happen to make all these things work. And these are interviews with different language sources and other journalists and things like that. Tons of crew on set prepping for the next stage because so many things need to happen before the next match. In fact, I believe the standard is that teams have about an hour off between lower bracket final and winner bracket final to gather themselves, relax a little bit, eat, and prepare for the grand final so that we have a really good match. So they've got to fit all this stuff in addition to their prep before they can play matches. And if you're curious how this stuff works, usually it's just coordinated ahead of time with player managers and things like that to make sure expectations are all the same and that we're seeing and experiencing fair standards and things like that. So that's a little bit of the stuff that's happening. Oh, and I think I saw 3-3 crush the key over there as well. It's busy. Anyways, that's just a little picture of what's happening backstage in these chaotic times. We'll be back at some point with the grand finals.
Thank you, Purge, who's given us that insight about all the moving parts behind the scenes there, and also that it is going to be a bit of an elongated break before the grand finals. We've got to give Team Liquid a little bit of time to reset. And so I want to fill it very briefly with the three of you to talk about the last 3 weeks that has been Riyadh Masters at Esports World Cup, and obviously get your prediction on that grand final. If you want to start us off, please, Effie.
I mean, it's been a fun 3 weeks. The Dota's been really good, but for me, the most exciting part was also seeing the other broadcasts going on at the same time, like right across from us, and seeing the excitement from other games too, because this isn't just about Dota, the EWC, it's about everything, and being a part of that was way cooler than I thought it would be. My finals predictions, I think probably Gaming will take it, but Liquid looked really good just now, so I don't want to jinx anybody.
That's totally fair. Sometimes you're a bit superstitious. What about yourself, Lacoste?
It's been great so far. You know, this is my 3rd time in Riyadh. Always a pleasure. And also, you know, talking to other analysts, talking to other casters from different games, of course. I might pick up, you know, some of the games as well. Maybe MLBB, maybe Honor of Kings, you know, we might get hooked on it. But overall, tournament has been great. We had some like great underdog stories. PSG Quest, a playing team that reached top 6, almost managed to get into top 4 as well. But overall, Dota has been good. I like the meta, how it shaped up after like the group stages. We have the playoff meta as well. And for the prediction, I would say that this is not going to be a 3-0.
Oh, I like that though. So, you know, I didn't say what sort of prediction. It's a great prediction.
That's actually a bold prediction, given how these tend to go. It's bold when you consider 2023, but not bold when you consider how these teams have looked in this tournament.
Yep.
I would personally mirror the same things that you guys said. I think having a tournament that is just a celebration of esports is extremely nice. I don't know how you guys felt growing up, but I feel like gamers, you're kind of a bunch of nerds. You know, sometimes you feel a little bit like an outcast. There's an escape element to playing these games. And we finally all get to come together as a community and just say, we love video games. This is here to stay. This is the new sports, you know? And every year it gets better. So I hope next year we see the production up. We got the trophy. We're doing some crazy key crushing stuff. I'm excited to see where the ideas go. And in terms of the Dota, we had, you know, Spirit got knocked down into the lower bracket. BB team had their story where they started performing really well, but through the lower bracket after having a terrible group stage. So there were a lot of really good storylines. And then finally we get a rehash of Game and Liquid, but in a different era. You couldn't write a better story than this, so I'm very happy with how things went.
You're right, it feels full circle, almost poetic, that we thought that it would have been Game and Liquid in the grand finals of Riyadh Masters last year, but after a whole 12 months, we do have Game and Team Liquid in the grand finals here at Riyadh Masters 2024. We're going to head to a break, and if you want to fill it in, don't forget there is either PUBG Mobile going on some other streams or CS2 if that tickles your fancy, but make sure you stay tuned because we'll come back with our grand Grand Finals. Gaming Gladiators or Team Liquid, who knows who'll take it.
Honor 200 series, the best portrait phone AI empowered. Studio level, AI portrait camera, 3 hardcore portrait modes. Color, vibrant and classic to capture portraits that truly stand out. AI empowered magic portal. Snapdragon 8S Gen 3 AI chipset. 5,200 milliampere per hour silicon carbon battery, 100 watt, Honor Supercharge. This is Honor 200 series.